Welcome back, everybody. So today I'm going to be making menudo in the Instant Pot. For those of you that have sent me private messages on the Instagram or put a comment in the comment section or to my email address, it's finally here. I'm going to show you how I make menudo in the Instant Pot, and you know it's going to be easy. And with the Instant Pot, it's going to be a lot quicker. So here's how I do it. Okay, here I have around 3 pounds of honeycomb tripe. So it comes like this. Basically, I am going to rinse it in cold water. So I'm going to add some more cold water along with 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. Now I'm just going to let this soak for about 15 to 20 minutes while I get the other ingredients ready. Okay, so I rinsed it in cold water again. I drained the soaking liquid, rinsed it again. So now I'm just taking really sharp kitchen shears and I'm just going to start cutting it into bite-sized pieces, maybe 1/2 inch to 1 inch pieces. You could use your knife. I just find, I don't know, using really sharp kitchen shears works. Okay, so my honeycomb tripe is cut, clean, washed, rinsed, good to go. So into my Instant Pot. Now I'm going to make an onion garlic puree. Here I have a small piece of onion. It's about 65 grams of onion, just a half of a small onion or a quarter piece of an onion. I've roughly chopped it. I'm going to add 3 large cloves of garlic, 1 tablespoon of beef bouillon powder, and a 1/2 cup of warm water. Now I'm going to puree. I'm going to add my puree into my Instant Pot. 1 bay leaf. Here I have about 5 to 6 tablespoons of menudo spice mix. You could use store-bought. This is actually a homemade spice mix that I make for myself. 5 to 6 tablespoons. This is 2 ounces of menudo spice mix going in. Now I'm going to add my water. Just about 1.5 liters of water into my 6-quart Instant Pot. Now I want to mention, if you have a store-bought brand menudo spice mix, this will list what it has in there, and actually it doesn't. It's kind of generalized. So the store-bought brands, you'll want to add around 2 teaspoons of Mexican oregano to this, but my homemade brand, I already mixed it in the blend. So if you're using store-bought, go ahead and add 2 teaspoons of Mexican oregano. Now I'm just going to give this a mix, and I'm not going to add any salt to this because most store-bought brands have salt in the mix, and I did add that 1 tablespoon of beef bouillon powder in the puree. So if it is going to need any salt, you'll want to taste it after it's done. Okay, so now I'm going to put the lid on. Make sure that the top is set to sealing. It should have the word on it if you're using an Instant Pot. Now you're going to set it to pressure cook, and I'm going to set it for 75 minutes. Now if you are doing pig feet in this or beef trotters, you'll want to set it for 90 minutes. So it's 1 hour and 15 minutes. Okay, so while the menudo is cooking, I just want to go over a couple of variations to this recipe. If you're using the store-bought menudo spice mix, then you'll want to go ahead and add 2 teaspoons of the Mexican oregano as well. Now, if you are a purist to menudo, then you're not going to want to add hominy. But I grew up having menudo with hominy, so I'm going to be adding a drained can. This is 1 pound and 13 ounces, but once I drain the liquid and give it a rinse, it's 1 pound of drained and rinsed hominy. That's gonna go later, and I'll show you how I kind of continue cooking it, but I'm going to keep everything in the Instant Pot. I just don't want to get another pot dirty. So I'm gonna just add this to the Instant Pot and continue cooking it in there. Now, if you want to make your own chili puree, I will leave a recipe below if you want to try that variation. I just find the store-bought Menudo mix, the spice mix, it's easy, and that's actually how my family makes it. I think I'm the only one in my family that does the chili puree, quite honestly. And I do enjoy making my own chili puree because it has health benefits, and I like the flavor and the viscosity that it gives the menudo. So I will put a chili puree variation in the description below. And the only other ingredient I'm probably going to add is the hominy, and if it needs salt to taste. But things like salts and a lot of flavorings and seasoning are to taste. So if you feel like, hey, I want more onion and garlic, go for it. It's gonna taste good. You're gonna be the one eating it. So I'm gonna let this continue cooking, and then I'll show you what happens next. I see you over there. Okay, so I've already turned it off. You just press the cancel button. So you are going to want this to do a natural release. I don't suggest doing a quick release. I mean, I guess you can. I prefer to kind of let things just chill out for a little bit. And there is a pressure button indicator on the back. Right now it's up, but once it goes back down, that's when you know it is safe to open. So I'm gonna let this hang out for about 20 minutes or so. Okay, so after letting it set for about 12 to 15 minutes, I went ahead and just did a quick release. And now I'm going to open it up and let's see what it looks like. Let's make sure the button went back down. Oh my gosh, and it smells so good. Wow. I do want to taste it for salt, just flavor and salt. But oh my gosh, this smells good. Here we go. Definitely the flavor is there, but it does need some salt. Okay, so here I'm going to add probably a half tablespoon. You could start with like a teaspoon of salt, mix it. But at this point, I am going to add my hominy, or the menudo's done. After you add your salt to taste, the menudo's ready to serve. But for those that like hominy, what I'm going to do is go ahead and put your Instant Pot on saute. Okay, so now that it's on saute, it's basically going to bring your menudo up to simmer, and I'm going to mix this. And if it needs more salt, I'll add salt to taste. Basically taste it, and you're going to add any seasonings or spices to taste. But for the most part, it just needs salt. It smells so good in here. If you love menudo, you're gonna love the smell. Okay, so now I'm going to add my drained, rinsed hominy. And this is a pound of rinsed, drained hominy. And now you're just going to give it a stir. And I'm going to let this simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, so I've skimmed a lot of the fat that was floating on the top. I added salt to taste. This has been simmering and boiling away for about 15 minutes. And menudo is done. All right, I got my menudo in the bowl. Can you see it? I don't want to spill it. Boom. I've got fresh squeezed lime, some onion, some cilantro. This is where it's at, folks. I'm going in. Man. Oh yeah. Let me tell you what I did. So I added around 2 teaspoons of salt that I thought it needed extra, and I added another extra teaspoon of that beef bouillon powder. So when it comes to the salt in your menudo and the flavoring and spices, use what you like. I did a combo of salt and beef bouillon powder. I like it. You might just want to be salt, cool. But this is really good. And I also added a little over 2 ounces. It's probably around 6 tablespoons of the store-bought Menudo spice mix. That's what you'll want to use if you're doing the quick and easy version, if you have it available. I will link some Menudo spice mixes in the description below. But that's it, folks. A delicious instant pot of menudo. A lot quicker. It's in one pot. This is literally a one-pot meal, and it's so good and comforting. You know, for the crudo, if you're sick, if you just want menudo, make it. It's so good. So I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching. Bye.